basketball.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skiddy, and Mally for the Insight NBA show.
G'day and welcome to the Inside NBA show, and it is the Heat Check, and I'm joined by the main man, my king, your king, everyone's king, Adam King. How are you, mate?
Were you going to say AFL?
Yeah, I've done it the last 6 times, and it's really doing my head in.
Yeah, I can't. I could talk about Essendon, but that's about it. If we wanted to talk AFL, but we don't need to talk about Essendon.
I'm telling you this right now, our community will absolutely love you saying that, because I reckon a majority of them are Essendon supporters as well as Horse. Yes. So good. You've done well there.
Okay. Yes, let's talk about basketball instead.
That's a better idea. And everyone that's coming along today, wherever the hell you are, thank you very much for joining us. You can drop the questions in the chat. Me and King will try our best to get along with it. But it is the weekend heat check, which means that we will go through who we think the pickups, the drops are coming into this weekend of NBA fantasy basketball. And we're also going to go a little bit of how you going for the NBACup. See who the winners are, our predictions for coming into the semifinals that they are in now, and then a bit of trade rumors as well. So we've got an action-packed show today, Kingy. And I'm going to start it off with a bit of the NBA Cup action. We've got the Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then we've got the Atlanta Hawks with your man, the Great Barrier Thief, Dyson Daniels, coming up against the Milwaukee Bucks. First one, what do you think of the nickname that they've gone for Dyson Daniels? And two, what are your predictions for the NBA Cup?
I don't know. I don't mind the nickname. It's a bit sort of cliched having the old Aussie reference in there, but it's fine. Look, I mean, it means people know who he is, so that's a good thing. And I did want to just mention, because I have to talk about Dyson Daniels
of course,
or Dyson Daniels related topic, and the related topic today is that his brother has just signed with Melbourne United in the NBL.
Hey.
So Dash Daniels, who will be in the 2026 NBA draft, so 2 years away, choosing to stay in Australia and play. So that's good. And from what I've seen, I have watched a bit of Dash play. He's a bit bigger than Dyson. So, yeah, I mean, we will see. You never know at this young age. But, I had to mention that. Dyson.
Absolutely. I would love to see a little bit of Dyson and Dash on the same team. That is lockdown defense.
Yeah, that would be nice. But in season tournament, I'd like the Hawks to win it, just because I think of the 4 teams, or maybe Houston. I don't know. Houston and Atlanta are probably the underdogs, and we love underdogs here in Australia. So so they're probably who I would like to see in the final. But I think the Thunder will win it. They just look unstoppable when they want to be. Yeah.
I'm 100% with you there. I'd love to see the Houston Rockets win, and I'm not saying that because my fiance goes for the Houston Rockets and she absolutely adores and loves Jalen Green. Although I like to see her happy. That's where I want to see. I love the underdog story of the Rockets. They were built to try and push somewhere where they signed Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks last year. And they're making good strides, but it's not because of those guys. It's because of Tari Eason. It's because of Amen Thompson. It's because of Alpi Şengün. So I'd love to see them win. I just don't think that they can beat the Thunder as much as I like to see. The scary thing about the Thunder is they don't have Chet Holmgren. So they're going to get better. Oh, geez, they could do a lot here. And shout out to our man Corey, who's in the chat as a Warriors fan. I understand how the jump ball was a loose ball foul the other day, and they lost you. But I got no idea either, mate. I thought that the Rockets got pretty lucky with that one.
I'm not. Look, it's.
I'm happy to say Houston win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and I personally, I'm not a massive Warriors fan. But and yeah, look, it's unfortunate when it comes down to a call like that. But if you dissect a game, any game, there's multiple calls like that. It just happened that it was at that time, at that moment, it cost. So it was bad timing. It is unfortunate, but I don't know, karma, I guess. Maybe the Warriors will get a lucky call in the next couple of weeks that wins them a game.
Bugger that. They've won 4 championships in the last 10 years. Bugger them. They've had enough fun. Let someone else win. That's all right. You shouldn't have got KD, so bugger off. And then on the other side, I'm actually going Atlanta to beat the Bucks. I reckon Dame Dollar's going to get stopped by Dyson. I think that's a pretty good one. And then I think the combination of Teller and Johnson can do not enough to stop Giannis, but enough to stop the other guys from completely damaging you. Yeah, Giannis might have, 40-odd points, but if you limit the other guys, that goes a long way to be able to stop the Bucks, especially if it's Bobby Portis. Brook Lopez has been horrible. He was on our Pit My Guy show the other day. He needs to do something better than the 350th ranked player this week. So, yeah, that's going to be another interesting game, actually.
Yeah, it will. Probably 3 weeks ago, we would have said Hawks would maybe be favourites because the Bucks were pretty bad, but they've looked better over the last couple of weeks. But you're right. I think Dyson will lock down Dame or do his best to do that. And then, you sort of just let Giannis do his thing, try and force him into some mid-range shots and things like that. But the way that Lopez has been playing, basically just leave him wide open.
He doesn't do it.
He looks terrible. He could bounce back at some point. But no, I do like the Hawks' chances.
Yeah.
And I mean, they themselves have been playing really well. So, I'm looking forward to both the games. I think they both should be very good games.
How about this, Kingy? We actually have a live breaking news here from Shams Sarania that the Miami Heat have agreed to trade Thomas Bryant to the Indiana Pacers, and the Pacers will swap the future second-round pick to the Heat for Thomas Bryant, who is trade eligible on Sunday. So the trade season, ladies and gentlemen, is now officially open. We know that the teams are able to be traded, players are able to be traded on December 15th. So now we're starting to get into a bit of the silly season, which is what we like to see, which actually preludes perfectly into our next topic. We're going to be talking about the trade rumors, Kingy. It's almost like Shams knew. He was almost like he was watching the stream and wanted to just do a perfect segue for us.
Can you imagine?
Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we do not give two single flying shits that Thomas Bryant has now gone to the Indiana Pacers. Doesn't mean anything. All I'm saying is it's probably just maybe a bit of something to do with contract for the Miami Heat to maybe do something a little bit later on would be my guess.
Yeah, look, it could be. Obviously, for the Pacers, they waived Moses Brown earlier in the week, so they signed him, dropped him. He wasn't doing what they needed. Thomas Bryant will come in and play as the backup center. He's not going to play enough minutes to be fantasy relevant here. But what this does do, and again, it's not necessarily fantasy relevant, is hopefully it clears the way for Kel'el Ware to play backup center. Because I thought he was very good in the preseason. So I don't think it's going to sort of impact fantasy here until the Miami Heat are potentially not in the playoff race if that situation comes along. But maybe it means that Kel'el Ware could play 12, 15 minutes a night rather than stupid Thomas Bryant being rolled out there.
Which is what we want to see. Like Kel'el Ware, I'd love to see him get rolled out there. Yeah, he's probably just, I don't think he really works next to Bam right now, but, you never know. He can stretch the floor a bit. Defensively, Bam can hopefully cover it. So you never know. Hopefully this playing time that Kel'el Ware gets to show Spoelstra, like, yes, I can rely on you. So it's good to see that there. But, King, let's go for a bit of hypotheticals. Also, too, I've just noticed, are you wearing a New Orleans Pelicans Crescent City shirt?
I am.
That's elite.
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's actually the shirt that we got last season when we were in New Orleans for opening night. So they were just on the back of the chair, and I managed to snag two of them, one for my brother, one for me. So that was nice. Yes, it's hard to believe it was that I was there that long. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it won't be too long and we'll be back over there. So looking forward to our next trip.
And Zion still probably won't be playing then. So that's good.
He did play. And that's exactly why we went early in the season, because we knew Zion's going to get injured. These guys are going to. So we were relatively confident first game of the season we'd see Zion, and we did. So that was good.
Fantastic. Well, that's a plus there. But we're going to go into a couple of hypothetical trades of seeing where these players can go. I just want you to tell me if they go to these certain other teams, if they do get traded, hypothetically, then will their fantasy value go up or will they go down? And we've got the 4 names of Jimmy Butler that has said where he'd like to go. I'm striking out Phoenix. There's no way that he's going to Phoenix because Bradley Beal's not waiving the no trade clause. Then they have to package a deal of like 5 guys that wouldn't even be able to tie Jimmy Butler's jockstrap. So I'm not interested in Phoenix, but Dallas, Warriors, Houston. Where does his fantasy value go up and where does his fantasy value go down if you're a Jimmy Butler owner in those situations?
I don't know. I mean, Jimmy is who Jimmy is at this point. Like, I don't think, and he doesn't come across as the kind of guy that's going to go somewhere where the team is going to tell him, you're our third option or our fourth option. Like, he's going to want to come in, play minutes, be at the head of the snake kind of thing. I hope he doesn't go to Houston, only because I know in terms of talent, yes, but if it meant they had to get rid of Tari Eason or Amen Thompson, like these young guys that are coming through, I just think they're doing really well with the squad they've got. And Jimmy Butler, to me, might be a disruptor. He might come in, and on paper it looks good, but I just don't know. I think Dallas is interesting, just because I think because they've got Luka, because they've got Kyrie, who are 2 sort of, I think, guys that basically aren't going to take any shit from Jimmy Butler, and so they will assert themselves. I'm not sure that would happen in Houston. Mm-hmm. But I guess to do that, Dallas would have to maybe look at getting off PJ Washington, maybe Gafford. I don't know who they put in that deal. And
Quentin Grimes.
Could be Grimes. And look, I think a whole part of it is, what do Miami want back? Yeah. Are they looking to contend this season? Are they wanting to get good players, proven players back, or are they happy to just take picks and young guys and sort of go into a soft rebuild? And who was the other team? The Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, the Warriors deserve Jimmy Butler, I think. So I don't know. Again, I do think if Jimmy went in there with Draymond and Steph there, it's a lot of personalities, a lot of. I mean, Steve Kerr has proven that he can manage those individuals because, as you said, they did have Kevin Durant there, and so that's interesting. It would, and I think the Warriors are probably of the opinion that our window to win with Steph is getting smaller. So we need to do something here because we're not going to win. They've been good, but they're not going to win. So I think in terms of Butler's value, I don't think it changes a lot. Like, I think wherever he goes, he's going to be sort of 17 points and a few boards, some assists. He doesn't hit a lot of threes. He gets some steals. It's all about health for Jimmy Butler. I don't think he's a guy whose value is going to change significantly. But he's coming into any team it'd be more of a situation where he's impacting the value of others rather than his value being impacted.
Yeah, I agree there. I think the main point would be Dallas. I think he would go down because the usage, I just can't see it staying. Even though it's low at 21 this season, I just can't see how it sustains with Kyrie and Luka there. Luka's obviously going to take majority. There's going to be nights where Jimmy's obviously going to have his shot. And but if he can keep his efficiency up on the good free, if he can bring his free throws back, then we can get Jimmy Butler evolved. From what I've heard, Kingy, I am hearing that the asking price from those teams, especially where the graphs to try and get Jimmy, isn't actually that high. And Houston may not lose any of their Dylan Brooks would be the guy out of their starting lineup that trade back to Miami. And then it wouldn't actually be Tari Eason or Amen Thompson. They're actually more zoning in on Cam Whitmore. which I would love to see Cam Whitmore go to Houston, because there's a lot of points that he could be pulling in from the small forward position, along with the steals. So that's where, that if that opens up for Cam Whitmore, hell yeah, I'm all in on that. If we get Kuminga in Miami, then yep, I'm in on that as well. I'm more interested in the pieces that are coming back to Miami more than where I'm interested in where Jimmy Butler goes for fantasy purposes. But we'll move on. That's enough about Jimmy. Who is the other guy? Oh, yeah, Cam Johnson. That's a really, really interesting one, because he has been on for Wago to start the year. And one thing that has been a really, really nice for Cam Johnson owners such as myself is that he's actually been the first option on the Brooklyn Nets this year when it comes to shots. He doesn't obviously need the ball in his hand that much, but spot-up shooting, the defensive stats have been an absolute chef kiss, and he has saved my bingo so many times. So thank you, Cam. Where would you like to see Cam Johnson go? Because it seems like he is linked to every single team in the NBA. They all want him.
Yeah, and not surprising, because if you can get a wing, a floor spacing wing, he's decent defensively. He's not great, but he's got size, which is what you want on the wing. So
yes, I
think I read something when I was doing the grocery shopping this morning that the Warriors and the Kuminga, this is sort of what they're looking at. I actually love that for Cam Johnson. Not necessarily fantasy value, like he's not going to come in and blow up or anything like that, but just for Cam Johnson, I'd be good to see him out of Brooklyn on a team that wants to win and has a plan. He would come in. I would assume he would start if he went to Golden State. He's a better player than Kuminga. I don't think we need to argue about that.
No.
So yeah, I think bringing him in, they probably sort of shuffle that starting lineup. I'm just looking at their roster.
Yeah.
Sort of here now. They probably, you could theoretically play Wiggins as a shooting guard.
He play Johnson as a shooting guard.
Or play Johnson. Like I think he comes in there and Curry, Wiggins, Green, Cam Johnson, and then insert center here, whoever it is a decent lineup. And with, I think the issue with Kuminga is that he's not a great floor spacer at the moment. He might get to that point, but Cam Johnson is. So, I actually like that for Johnson. In terms of anywhere else he goes, as you said, he's probably overachieved to begin the season. So wherever he goes, he's not going to be option one or two, and the injury to Cam Thomas has helped him over the last few weeks. But I still think he would be a 12-team fantasy player no matter where he goes, because whoever trades for him is going to want him on the court playing 28 minutes a night.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just loving the moment that he is currently the 34th ranked player per game in fantasy this season, which is just fantastic. Obviously, free throws are beautifully high. The usage is currently around 20, but in the last 2 weeks, it's been 25. So you can see that difference without Cam Thomas. I just want to see this sustained, and hopefully it's the evolution of Cam Johnson. We don't just go back to Phoenix Cam Johnson, where he just sat in the corner and did bugger all, and he was the fifth option sometimes on offense. There's a lot of teams that I think that Cam Johnson would fit in. Obviously, I'd like to see him in Cleveland, but I would hate to see him in like Celtics, Knicks. I think they all kind of work for him. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting spots where Cam Johnson can go. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then the last one that I want to bring up is Zach LaVine. And we feel like we've been talking about this for about 2 years now. Obviously, the contract is starting to come down a bit. If you ask anyone on Twitter, every single Lakers fan is saying that they're going to get Cam Johnson, they're going to get Jimmy Butler, they're going to get Zach LaVine. And I just don't know where the trade assets come from. So who wants D'Angelo Russell? No one.
No one. He has, to be fair, he has looked a bit better.
LaVine's been good. Yeah.
LaVine's been good. So it's a contract issue. It's just so much money that someone has to pay this guy who has potentially reached his ceiling already. I think we've seen the best of Zach LaVine. I'm not sure what else he can do. What can he really? All he could do to improve his overall value is more defensive stuff, and I just don't see that coming. So it's a tough one. Again, I do think if someone did trade for Levine, they would be bringing him into play a meaningful role. So his value isn't going to take a huge hit no matter where he moves. It would be more a situation like Jimmy Butler where his arrival impacts the value of others.
Yeah.
But vice versa, or on the other hand, if he was to leave Chicago, depending on who came back, we're going to see Kobe White, we're going to see Ayo Dosunmu, we're going to see these guys really take off. So, there's winners and losers, as we know, in terms of fantasy on both sides of the equation. So, but in terms of Levine, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I agree there. And honestly, he's he's such a one-dimensional type of player. Obviously, he's an absolute unbelievably talented scorer. We all know that, but he's got defensive issues. I think that there is an absolute perfect team that actually works for Levine that he can go to that will benefit both of them, where they have enough coverage for defensive-wise, they have enough depth, and they need that extra scoring punch, and that's the Orlando Magic. And even with Paolo and Franz back, if you sub Levine for KCP in that starting lineup, and you have Suggs, Levine, Wagner, Banchero, and then Goga or Wendell Carter, that is a team that can push because you can hide Levine behind Jalen Suggs. Suggs is that good defensively. So, and I think his fantasy value can still stay up around there. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Paolo ISO, but Levine can get his off the dribble. He can get his catch and shoot. I think that's a good situation if they can somehow land him. Or you could just put him in Charlotte because they need everything. And he can just score 50 a night as well as LaMelo, which also works there well.
It does. Yeah, Charlotte are an interesting team because it feels like they've been rebuilding for 2 decades and they just keep getting injuries. So are they – I mean, I've seen trade rumors regarding LaMelo Ball. I don't think that happens, but
no way.
I do wish, like I'm a Charlotte fan in terms of I loved them during the 90s. Larry Johnson was one of my favorite players. And it's sad. It's just sad to watch them the last few years. I know injuries have played a part in that, but I just feel sorry for the fans having to sit through this crap every year. So it would be nice for them to actually figure out what they're doing and try and move forward with a plan rather than whatever they're doing right now.
Yeah, they should probably draft well. I mean, their best draft would help. LaMelo. Yeah, it would. All right, Kingy, let's get stuck into a bit of the what are we doing? Oh, yeah, the games for today. That's right. The main reason why we're trying to help people be able to win their fantasy matchup this week. And ladies and gentlemen, you know how it goes. It is brought to you by our day ones, the Standard Squeeze. Promo code IFS15. Beer will be in this cup later on tonight. I've already had my coffee in it. It is the bee's knees. Keeps coffee warm up to 2 hours. Longer than that, actually. And beer cold for up to 4 hours or something like that. They are just the best, and I've already forgotten how to do the promo, but who cares about that? Kingy, let's get stuck into the games. We got the Washington Wizards versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. We got, what's that? Is that last versus first in the East? Love to see that. Hopefully the Cavs win it. It's not a Denver situation the other night. Oh, goodness me. For the Wizards, Bay's still out, obviously. Brogdon is out. Keyshawn George is out. Kispert's out. Kuzma's out, which is probably good for the Washington Wizards. And Vukovic is out for the Cavs. Mobley's game time. Okoro's game time. Bates, Porter, and Maxi Strus has still not signed up. Cavs are minus 17 favourites. What are we looking here, Kingy?
I think for the Wizards, it's with all those injuries. I don't know. Bub Carrington, he's been starting. He's been playing good minutes. He hasn't been doing a lot with them, but he's worth a look. I think we're probably. I don't want to say. I can't say Marvin Bagley. Justin Champagny is probably the other one. Champagny's had 2 really good games. He's played 28 and 31 minutes or something, and he's had steals and points. So he's probably the other guy if I'm just looking at a total flyer tonight. And then for the Cavs, I don't know. I'm wondering whether they do sit Mobley tonight, given they're up against Washington, just to give Mobley a little bit of extra rest because he's had a very busy start to the season. I don't know, Karis LeVert, he's always on a streaming list or a waiver wire list or something like that. But they're just, I mean, Ty Jerome's been playing well, but they don't really need him. If Okoro is there, there's just not, they just don't need to play their guys a lot of minutes. So Karis LeVert is a name to monitor, but they only need him for 24 minutes, and that's not enough.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't see a stream in this one unless Koulibaly's sitting there, or you could probably go Bub Carrington with a bit of extra size there. They'll probably play him pretty much the whole game too. I'd be surprised if Mobley does play because he did get injured in that last one against Miami, and he didn't return for the rest of the game. So, I mean, you just put Dean Wade in there, but as you said, probably not enough minutes. And even if so, Dean Wade's probably not the best one. Karis LeVert, I reckon that's pretty safe if you ever need that from Vert. Next game, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers. And have a look at this. The big three are playing for the second time this year. So let's see how we go and how long this is going to last. Indiana's been extremely disappointing. Neesmith is still out. Shepherd is out, but that means that we have Nembhard returned last one, so that's okay. We get almost the complete starting line for the Indiana Pacers. And for Philly, Caleb, one of the Martin twins is out. Boner's out as well, but we get a full-time Philly. So they've had the rest. What can we see here? Because it's kind of uncharted territory, and I can't believe that they are listed at the moment is Yabusele starting at power forward. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, Yabusele, he's been a good fill-in. There's no need to be holding him now with a healthy roster. They still refuse to start Jared McCain. And I guess while they're winning, they will just go with Kelly Oubre. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we do get Jared McCain moving into that starting lineup ahead of Kelly Oubre. But yeah, look, I mean, when they're healthy like this, there's actually not a lot in terms of streaming. McCain, if he was dropped, I guess you could take a flyer on him for some points. Likewise for Kelly Oubre. And for the Pacers, TJ McConnell, he's been very good. So he's always, again, on this list and only needs 22 minutes to put up value. Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker are sort of playing minutes in the 20s, so they're sort of worth a look as well. But, I think for this game, it's more about seeing what the Sixers look like fully healthy.
Yeah, I like that. Do you give any if Benny Math was dropped in any leagues, would you be inviting to the waiver wire to pick him up? Are you happy with Benny Math? Because he's dropped in a couple of my leagues and I did that exact thing.
Yeah, I think so. He started the season really well. He's cooled off. I was always a little bit skeptical given what we'd seen from him in the first couple of years of his career. But he has looked better this year. And yes, if he was dropped, I'd pick him up. I think he's going to be one of these guys that's sort of on and off waivers all season. You might have him in your lineup for a week and get 2 good games out of him, and then he'll have 2 bad ones and you'll drop him and someone will pick him up and get him for 3 games. So he'll be very up and down, but I think he's been doing enough to warrant pretty consistent attention in standard leagues.
I think the fact that he's averaging as many rebounds as he is just an absolute plus, and I'm happy with having him just purely for the fact that he can almost get me a double-double every single time he's gone out this year. The points and the free throw percentage as well, really nice. So if you don't care about that, then bugger him off. Let's go to Charlotte. Let's go to Chicago. Yuck. I'm already not liking this game. LaMelo's still out, so that sucks. We don't get ball versus ball. Trey Mann's out. Miles Bridges might be returning. He's a game time. Salan, game time. Curry is also a game time, but meh. For the Chicago Bulls, Giddy is a game time. Levine's a game time. Pat Williams looks like he's returning with a game time. Vucevic also a game time, as well as Lonzo Ball. So the thing is that we can look here is the toss-up between Nick Richards and Mark Williams is still a thing. I'm still on the caution side of not picking up Mark Williams. I mean, you can if you want to bank on it, but, geez, he's missed so much basketball, and they are just not confident in his body. You can see it. As soon as he starts to grimace, he is out of the game immediately. They don't even care because they don't care about winning. They don't care about, having to do it. They just want to make sure Mark Williams is healthy, getting enough run into him. So I'm still a little bit iffy on him. I'm happy with Nick Richards. He's been putting together some really, really good games. Micic for assists, I guess. But do you like anyone else in this game, Kingy?
No, I think they did. I read something yesterday that Charlotte are going to extend Mark Williams' playing time a little bit. So that might mean he's played 9 minutes, 11 minutes, and 11 minutes. So maybe that extends to 15. I don't know, 14, who knows? And thus far, they've only used him in one half. So he plays all of his minutes in the first half.
Yes.
Are they going to get to a point where? And look, I get why they're doing that, because they don't also want to push Nick Richards because he's coming off injury.
Yes.
But you can't really run three centers in a half, and it just doesn't give them the opportunity to get momentum going and get a feel for the game.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to play Mark Williams in the first half and then Moussa Diabate in the second half. So I think that will probably be what they do. I'm not sure. Yeah. But anyway, as for Mark Williams, I think we're holding him where you can. It's obviously what he's doing at the moment is not worthwhile. But if we can project forward a month and he's playing 25 minutes, then he'll be someone who needs to be rostered. In terms of who else I'm looking at, Miles Bridges, I think, is questionable to return tonight. Still no LaMelo Ball or Trey Mann. So Micic, if you need assists. If Bridges is back, that means we weren't really interested in Salou or Cody Martin or these guys anyway, but we lose even more interest in those guys. That's probably it for the Bulls. Dosunmu should be rostered anyway, but he's been playing really well. Patrick Williams is questionable. Is that you said that?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, he's questionable to return tonight.
Yeah, so him coming back probably hurts Dosunmu a little bit. I mean, the Bulls seem enamored with Patrick Williams for whatever reason. I don't know what they see that the rest of the world doesn't see, but Williams coming back also hurts Buzelis. Vooch being questionable is interesting. So if he is out, then Jalen Smith is who I
sticks.
So I'm actually waiting in one league to see if we get an update on Vooch, because if he's out, I'm going to go and grab Jalen Williams. So that would be
Smith.
It'd be interesting to see if they start Smith or go small, but surely they will.
Surely they will, especially against Nick Richards. I would see that. But I'm 100% with you. If Vooch is out, I'm going with sticks. Yep, Jalen Smith, ladies and gentlemen. You hear it here first. Next game, Lakers, Minnesota. No LeBron James is what is the big takeaway here, ladies and gentlemen. Davis is still day-to-day, so that's not surprising there. Austin Reeves returning, which is good to see. Hayes is out. Huchafino's out. LeBron's out. Vanderbilt's out. Christian Wood is out. And then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, our man, our GOAT, Joe Ingles, is out. So no surprise there. For the Lakers, can we give any love to Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, Matt Christie?
We can. Whether you should, that's another question. Connect has been pretty disappointing since that nice little run there. So I think both he and Hachimura are sort of interchangeable. Maybe you take a flyer on one of them and get lucky. Of the three of them, in terms of overall value appeal, I actually like Max Christie the best. I think he has the best fantasy game, but just pulled up his box score here, and he's quietly sort of been doing stuff. He's been playing, he's played 26 minutes, 31, 26, 21, 30, 23. So his minutes have been up sort of in the mid-20s. He gets some defensive stuff. He can score a little bit. He's a decent rebounder. So I think, all three are worth considering, and I do like Max Christie's overall value. But if I had to pick one, it's probably Connect, I guess, just because he's starting maybe. But it's just going to be a lot of Anthony Davis, I think.
I think, and especially if Reeves comes back, then I like a lot of like Davis Reeves. But I kind of don't mind Rui in this situation. I think someone needs to score, and he can do enough mid-range. Oh, I guess it's against Randall, Gobert, and McDaniels. Oh, now I don't like it as much, actually. Yeah, no. No, I don't like it.
Yeah. It's tough to know. I mean, Minnesota have maybe they've turned a corner. I don't know. We're pretty much rostering everyone on that Wolves side except for Jaden McDaniels. I picked up DiVincenzo in one league. I think it was a 16-team league because I think they play tonight and Sunday. So I think they have 2 games left this week. So that's why I picked him up, hoping that maybe we can get a glimpse of last year's Dante DiVincenzo. But I'm not confident.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know that I was out on my hill with Dante DiVincenzo, and I am slowly climbing down, but I'm not quite there yet. I still have faith. Next game, we got the Brooklyn Nets versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Could be an all right game. Bogdanovic is out still. Cam Thomas is out. Zaire Williams is out, so he doesn't get to play against his old team. Cam Johnson, my king. Keep going, son. Keon Johnson, interesting, I would say, in this matchup. And then for the Memphis Grizzlies, Zach Edey's game time, GG Jackson and Vince Williams are both still out. What do you like in this one, Kingy? Do we give any love? Jalen Wells, is it too much of a, they just have everything, really, don't they?
Yeah, Grizzlies, it's tough when Jar is healthy and Baines healthy. There's just not enough there for Jalen Wells, I don't think. I don't think Edey will play tonight. And if he doesn't, we keep rolling with Brandon Clark, who's been playing really well, limited kind of minutes, but he does enough. He's always been one of my favourite players, and it's good to see him playing a significant role. And I actually wonder whether the Grizzlies will Edey will come back whenever that is, but do they just stick with Brandon Clark because they've been winning? I think they're 3rd in the West now or something. So I don't know. It's working. So maybe they do bring Edey off the bench. Even once he's back and healthy. I'm not sure what their philosophy will be there. I don't think Wells, Aldama just keeps somehow finding a way to put up numbers. So he's sort of the longest stream in history. We're just streaming him for 2 months, ready to drop at any point. Marcus Smart, if you need some assists and steals. And then for the Nets, it's tough because we just is it Jalen Wilson? Is it Shake Milton? Is it Trendon Watford? Is it Keon Johnson? You just don't know from one night to the next. Ben Simmons, maybe he's due for a good game because he hasn't been great. But I don't know. It's all about Cam Johnson, isn't it? Let's just see if he can continue to dominate.
Keep feeding him the ball. That's I think you've hit the nail on the head. These are just 2 deep teams where there's just not a lot. Like, you could have a gamble that someone goes off, but I think there's safer options to go this week. The Clippers, the Denver Nuggets. Clippers, Kobe Brown is out. Derek Jones Jr. is out, which will leave the opening for Nicholas Batum. Kawhi Leonard's still out. Terrence Mann is out. PJ Tucker is non-existent. So, and then for the Nuggets, Jamal Murray is game time decision. So if Brody's on your waiver wire, ladies and gentlemen, you go pick up Russell Westbrook. Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon game time. Choncha and Saric are out. I mean, Westbrook, the pickup here. Kingy, do you like anyone else? Do we give any love for Batum's 2 stat line?
We don't. No, we do not. Look, Westbrook, I think if Jamal Murray is out, and I did see I didn't read the article, but I saw something about the Nuggets could be cautious here with Jamal's hamstring, which makes sense.
Yep.
If he's out, we obviously look at Westbrook, and I think Julian Strawther to a lesser degree. He's had a couple of decent performances in a row, so he's shooting the ball well. So I'd say Strawther and Westbrook would be the guys we look at there. And for Batum, no. Chris Dunn, if you need steals, Kevin Porter's been playing okay. So if he can get sort of 25 minutes, he might be worth a look if you need some assists and points. And Amir Coffey is back tonight, I believe. So, maybe some love there with Terrence Mann out. It's Jordan Miller is who I'd love to see out there playing a bit more. But I don't know if there's on a night like this where there's 8 games, there's probably safer streaming options. If we only had 4 games or something tonight, I'd take a bit of a flyer on Jordan Miller. But he's played at least 20 minutes in 3 straight games, so he's someone to keep an eye on because I think he's probably better than Terrence Mann already. So I don't think the Clippers agree, but maybe he moves ahead of him. I don't know.
If you ask any Clippers fan, they absolutely love Jordan Miller. Like, they just want him to have the ball as much as possible. He's rolling around with a 22% usage, Kingies, when he plays. So they adore him. I think if we can get enough of Jordan Miller, then that's fine by me. Here's the stat for you as well, Kingy. Russell Westbrook this season without Jamal Murray playing. 18.3 points, 6.3 assists, 5 rebounds, 2.3 steals, 50% from the field, 38% from 3. Yeah. He's on fire without Jamal Murray this season. We are getting prime Westbrook back. Unbelievable. Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz coming up next. The Suns without Colin Gillespie. So we actually get a healthy Phoenix, which is very interesting. We haven't seen for a long time. Utah Jazz, Clarkson's game time. Markkanen's game time. Mahia is out. Markkanen has been absolute shithouse the past couple of weeks. We need him to really bounce back and show us a little something in this game. But also Utah don't care because they are doing a great job of tanking. Do we like anyone in this one? Can we see Keontae George keep his hot streak going? It's interesting to see.
For the Suns, no, because they're fully healthy now. Nurkic back, so we can move on from Plumlee if you are holding him. No point in grabbing Ryan Dunn. Grayson Allen would be the only one there potentially if you need threes, or maybe Royce O'Neal if they do sort of go easy with Kevin Durant and only play him 25 minutes or something like that, which might be the case given they're playing Utah. For Utah, again, Keontae George has been playing well, so I think we keep an eye on him. If Clarkson is back, that probably cuts into Sexton's upside. I think Sexton will still start, but it probably limits his minutes a little bit. Probably what I'm watching here is to see what Kessler's minutes look like. With a healthy roster, he's been playing sort of 30, 32, 34 minutes a night. So I'd love it if they just keep pumping minutes into him but I don't know. With Markkanen back, with Filipowski back, with Clarkson back, does he come back down to sort of 26 to 28 minutes? Still rosterable, but he's averaging like 3 or 3.5 blocks or something. So that will obviously take a hit. So there's probably not a lot here. It's more just having a look at what does Kessler's role look like, and can we find any value on that Phoenix bench when they're healthy?
Yep. Absolutely agreed. And then we roll into the last game of the day, the San Antonio Spurs versus the Portland Trailblazers. Spurs without Steph Castle, without Zach Collins, without Keldon Johnson, and without Trey Jones. Portland. Now, this is an interesting one here. This is where we got to keep our eye on, and it's a pain because it's the last game of the day, and it is, there's no other. This is the last game to start as well, so we're going to have to make our decisions pretty early. But Ayton, Klingon, Rob Williams, and Duop Reith, the whole center rotation for the Portland Trailblazers are all game time decision. So if Rob Williams is on your wire, if Klingon's there, and the big fella Ayton doesn't play, then there could be a bit of value here because Klingon can definitely get you them boards and them blocks. And I want to see what happens here But for the Spurs, Champagne's back, which is good to see. And there's no one really cutting into his minutes anymore, which is making him an interesting pickup for today, as well as Barnes.
Going to be interesting to see what they do with Castle out because he's been starting. Do they bring Sohan back in? Do they bring Vassell in? Could be a couple options here. Champagny should still play enough to be a target. Harrison Barnes will play enough, but I'm not sure he does anything. But we'll see what version of him we get. Sohan should be rostered. Vassell should be rostered. Champagny's really the only one here we're looking at who could be available to stream in. And then for the Blazers, I talked about this on my mailbag show with Noah yesterday. The fact it could be coincidental, but it might not be, that Ayton has been healthy and playing, and as soon as Rob Williams and Klingon are upgraded, he is downgraded because, interestingly, he returned when they both went out. So I think he's probably waiting to see if Klingon and Williams play, and if they do, he's going to just say, no, look, I'm too sore, I can't play tonight, because Ayton doesn't want to play unless he's the focal point and getting all the minutes, and that's not going to be the case. So, but other than that, look, they are relatively healthy. So Tamani Kamara, he's one of our favourite streamers for the year, I think. Denny Avdia, his minutes have dropped a little bit, still probably on the radar, as is Scoot Henderson. But we're really watching that centre rotation tonight to see who's available, who is not, and if they're all available, who gets the minutes.
Yeah. I'm so keen to see what happens on December 15th when all these guys are eligible, just to see what Portland are going to do, because they can't have all three of them. Surely you're not just going to hold them and let their contracts run out. Just trade them off. All three of them are valuable. They could be a contender would be absolutely licking their lips to get any one of them. Ayton, you need to have a pretty good defense to be able to hide that, but that's all right. You still figure it out. And I really like that from you. I think there's a couple of good guys that we can pick up for today. We do look at the Lakers guys as they are undermanned. Cleveland, we don't really care about in that game. Just a quick summary. If you need assists, Mičić is your best guy. Nick Richards as well, if he's still on the waiver wire there. Russell Westbrook, if Murray doesn't play, is a great pickup, as well as Strouder. As Kingy said, we're not really caring about Brooklyn, Memphis. We don't really care about Phoenix, Utah. And then in the last game, we can have a look at Champagny or Barnes if you're really feeling spicy today. Kamara as well, if you like that. But Kingy, you want to tell everyone what's coming up on FBI? What's coming up with you?
Just normal in-season stuff. So 2 shows a day, most day, pre-game, post-game, as well as some sort of scattered mailbag shows and themed shows and things like that. With the holidays coming up from work, so a couple of weeks off shortly.
Lovely.
There'll probably be more because I'll be at home. So there might be... it might be some stuff. What else is coming up? That's sort of it on in terms of my show, and then I've just got my usual articles over on RotoWire, which actually I did one last night, so I've got to tweet something out about that. But everything's on Twitter, everything's on Blue Sky now as well, which is fun.
Yeah, the competition, which we love. So thank you very much for joining us, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Loved having you guys here. Make sure you go over to Kingy at Adam King 91 and FBI Basketball, all that good stuff. His articles are an absolute beautiful read. They're better than just sitting on the toilet reads. They are for on the couch reads. That's how we like to say it here. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you with the next one. Hope you go well today. Bye.